Watch out! That's called Redneck Ninja. Right there. Blue collar kung fu, baby. So now you can see how there you go. Got your angle. We'll go down into that trench right in here. We'll pull all that material out, and then we'll push that material back up the hill. At least that's the plan. All right, we got it here from the operator station. You can see the dirt is much higher on this side, on the right side of the blade, and lower on the left side of the blade. Now, right now, our blade's getting too full of dirt, so we're just going to pull it up just a little bit because we don't want to cut on the left side of the blade. We only want to cut on the right side of the blade. You can see that cutting on the right side of the blade. We're going to lift it up. Anytime the blade starts to get full of dirt, we lift it up a little bit. That's a little too much. Just back it up. Get it at the right spot. See right there? That's the right spot. We want this to be smooth. We just work it a little bit. Just like that. Now we're going to go back down. Get some more dirt in the blade. Get a lot of dirt on the right side of our blade. Less dirt on the left. We start getting too much dirt on the left. And that's what we really want it to look like. Now, since we're into the side of the hill, we're getting a whole bunch on the left side of our blade because of the way that the hill's angled. So we probably need to angle our blade on the next pass a little bit more out. What's good, America? Back up here on the mountain. And today we are going to make a video about how to grade our road and how to use the Titan rear angle blade. And just real quick, I like the rear angle blade for our purposes, for what we're doing up here, better than a road planer, because I think, well, one, I'm able to use it in the snow, and you've probably seen those videos, and we're going to talk about we're going to make a separate video at some point about all of the different implements that we have up here on the mountain, and why we think that those are the right implements to have, and why we think having a tractor, if you have a piece of mountain property, is the right thing to have versus maybe a skid steer or something else. There's pros and cons to both. But today's video is going to be about the Titan rear angle blade. This is a 6-foot blade. It has 18 positions if you count the rear positions, because the blade can be flipped completely around, and we're going to show that real quick. We're going to go down on the bottom part of our property today, and we've got some washes that have happened, and over the years we're slowly putting a camber on the road, and it's much steeper down there. So over the years we've been working the road, and it takes a long time, but we've been working the road so that one side of the road is higher than the other. So we have a camber on the road, and something similar to this, you can see right here, the road is a little bit higher here than it is down here. And so over the years, I've been slowly working it with the blade so that it's higher on this side. So when the rain hits, it comes down and goes off of the edge of the road. And when we first got this property, we used to have really bad puddling right here in this area. And then it took me a couple of years of working it because I don't want to remove too much soil, move the soil around too much, but I've worked it, and now it has a camber on it. And so the water lands and it doesn't puddle anymore, and it just goes off the edge. Now, if you had a flat road, what you would want to do is you would want to have a crown. And so the way that you do both of those things with the rear angle blade, and I know there are some road planers out there where you can get them to be angled, but I don't think you can angle them as much as this. But I actually did watch a video once where somebody was using a road planer to trench, but we trench with this as well. And we'll talk about why I like that better. But so, all right, let's talk about how to get that camber and how to get the crown if you're wanting to do a crown on a flat road, so that when the water when the rain comes, it lands and it runs off the sides into your trenches. So with the rear angle blade, what you want to do is you want to angle this part of the blade in towards the tractor. If you're trying to, well, for a camber like this on the bottom, we'll want to angle this part of the blade in. But for a camber like this, we would angle the blade the other way. But because the video is going to be on the bottom, we're just going to talk about how we're doing it on the bottom. So we're going to angle the blade when we get to the bottom. We're going to angle the blade in so that this part of the blade is cutting deeper than that part of the blade. And the dirt will start to gather higher here and then kind of push out over here. So we have our camber coming like this. We're not cutting into the hillside, and we're cutting below and pushing dirt up as much as we can rather than dragging it all the way down to the bottom. So here's how you would do that with the Titan rear angle blade. You would, and they do have hydraulic ones, and this blade is 5 years old. Last time I did a Google search for it or looked for it, they don't make them like this one anymore. They make them in a completely different color. They make them in a completely different color, and it might even be a different company. I'm not sure, but I got this from the Mahindra dealership. They were selling them there with the tractors, and so this is the one that I got. And the other thing that I like about this Titan is you can see it has this reinforced area right here that runs the whole stent, it runs the whole length of the blade to keep it from bending this way or that way, mostly back this way. And I think that is a higher level of strength than what a lot of your blades are. You're going to want to look for some kind of reinforcement bar that runs along here if you're buying a rear angle blade, because I can tell you right now, I've hit rocks and it's stopped the tractor dead. And on some of the other blades that I've seen that aren't reinforced here, it would have bent that blade for sure. How much it would have bent, I don't know how much it would have bent it, but it would have bent it. And this blade has not been bent at all. And I've hit trees with it. I'm telling you, I'm hard on stuff. So, okay, here's how you angle the blade. This is not a hydraulic, so we have to pull a pin. It's easy enough. Angle the blade in. Look inside your hole there. Find your hole. Put your cotter pin back in. And now you're going to be cutting more on this side, gathering more dirt into the blade right here, and then pushing dirt out to that direction. And that's the direction that we're going to run the blade down on the bottom, because the road on the bottom is higher on this side, lower on this side, and we're trying to get that water to collect. Again, we're trying to get that water to collect and flow into the trench that we're going to make. Now, when we do our trench, it'll be on this side as well. So when we go down to the bottom to do the trench, we will put this angle back to straight, because if we leave it, we're going to be pulling the whole blade over this direction. If we leave it here, it's going to come into the tire. So we're going to put it back to this position to do our trench. Look in the hole. Makes it a lot easier. Makes it a lot easier. Cotter pin back in. All right. So we've already got this one pulled. We're going to bring it in like this. We're just going to do the first hole. That one's a little harder to get in there. It takes a little bit more work, but hey, that's exercise. That's the way I see it. Keeps us in shape. Then we're going to pull this pin. And we're going to angle the blade down like this. We would put the pin back in there, but I don't want to fight it back in. So we actually are probably going to end up running it. Now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to run it in this position. And that's the thing. I mean, you have to look at what you're trying to do. And the truth is that when I get down there, I'm going to move it over to this position, this one other position. So I will have it in this position, because I'm going to want to keep my tires out of the trench while I'm trenching. So I'll have it in this position. I'll have it over there, and I'm probably going to have the blade in another position. I'll end up having the blade in, let's just pull this real quick and just show it. I'll end up having the blade in this position here. And that'll be the position that I trench in.
So what you're doing here is you're moving this to this angle, and then you're moving the blade to this angle.
Because you got to compensate because
Right.
you're moving it in closer to the tire. So you start compensating the blade. And I want the blade to be straight while it's going into the trench. And then when I'm trenching, and you'll see on the video on this side, only this much of the blade is going to be used. And it's going to fill the whole blade. This much of the blade. Yep, because we're trenching. And I will have it in this last position because I want to keep my tires out of the trench while I'm trenching. So it'll be over this way. But when I get down there, we've got some wash, and I don't want to fight the wash. And so what I'm going to do is start blading first, clear that wash out of there, and then I'll come back and trench. And I'm really only doing the top part of the road. The bottom part of the road looks really good. And I don't think it's wise to unnecessarily blade the road because I am removing material. And in some of those areas, I want that material to be there. So I don't just blade the road to blade the road. I want to keep my material. So I only do it when it's necessary to do it. And this is beyond. We drove up and down the road last year without having to blade the road, but this is 2 years old, and the trenches, and you'll see the trenches when we get down there. So we're going to throw the ROP spar up, set this back to a straight position because you don't want to travel with it like this because you will catch it on the ground as you're going down uneven parts of the dirt roads. There's a pine cone. But we'll throw the ROP spar up and head down there and get to trenching. All right, so what we're going to do first, normally what I do is I cut the trench first, but right now I got some pretty good washes in there, and I'd rather cover them up. So we're going to angle the blade so that it's digging in, cutting in deeper on this side, and pushing dirt up to this direction so that we're building dirt up higher, cutting it in lower, so that when the rain comes, it comes down the side of the road right into the trench. That's the plan. This is a multi-blading operation, multi-year operation. It's just you slowly get the road. Now, but if it was a road like this, well, this one still has a little bit of a canter, but if it was a road like this, you'd want it to have a crown. So the outsides would be lower and it would come up to a crown in the middle so that when the rain hits, it would go off to the sides. We don't have much area where we really need crowning done. Okay, we're going to record that first round, and I think you can hear me talking. So just follow me for a second. I'm going to try to stay out of the trench. We're actually cutting quite a bit more to this side than what I was wanting. I actually think I have it wrong. Yeah, that's better right there. Much better. So as soon as I started observing, I noticed that the way I had it was cutting and piling over here because it was cutting into the side of the hill. The hill was coming into it like that. Okay, I'm going to turn around real quick, and then you record me coming forward. Okay? All right, that looks a lot better having the blade. You can see the dirt is higher on this side of the blade, and it's lower on this side of the blade. So now we're getting that nice angle that we want. Well, now the blade is clear full, which is a little bit more dirt than what we want. So we'll just lift it up a little bit, but we're still getting that more dirt on this side of the blade than on that side of the blade. That's what we want. Now we're kind of getting into the mount side again, so we're full blade. Lift the blade up a little bit. That's too much. Cut it right there. Back down. Because the road's uneven, so you got to work your blade up and down. All right, we got to hear from the operator station. You can see the dirt is much higher on this side, on the right side of the blade, and lower on the left side of the blade. Now, right now, our blade's getting too full of dirt, so we're just going to pull it up just a little bit because we don't want to cut on the left side of the blade. We only want to cut on the right side of the blade. You can see that cutting on the right side of the blade. We're going to lift it up. Anytime the blade starts to get full of dirt, we lift it up a little bit. That's a little too much. Just back it up. Get it at the right spot. See right there? That's the right spot. We want this to be smooth. We just work it a little bit. Just like that. Now we're going to go back down. Get some more dirt in the blade. Get a lot of dirt on the right side of our blade. Less dirt on the left. We start getting too much dirt on the left. And that's what we really want it to look like. Piling on the left side, piling on the right side of the blade, and no dirt on the left side. I'm dyslexic, so if I said a couple of times right side and it was left side, you're just going to have to look at the blade and see for yourself. The goal is to cut deeper on the right, have a canter that's higher on the left going to the right. That's the goal. Right now we're filling our blade up maybe a little too much. Lift it. Oh, that was too much. Right there. Now, since we're into the side of the hill, we're getting a whole bunch on the left side of our blade because of the way that the hill's angled. So we probably need to angle our blade on the next pass a little bit more out. All right, you can already see the improvement on the road. Now I've got a smooth area to be able to drive on. I've got way too much dirt on this right side. And when I trench, I'll be pulling all that out. So now I'm going to stop recording for a little while and I'm going to focus on what I need to do to get this done right. And then I'll record it and I'll tell you what I learned because I learned something every single time. I mean, this is not the easiest road to blade. It's a pretty steep road, as you can see. I'll do one more pass from the operator's station and just let you see how steep that it actually is from my angle. That's how steep it is. I don't know what the grade is, but it's certainly not flat. Got to collect all that. I'll get all that collected. That's how steep it is. All right. So we've got the blade angled, pulled this direction, in this way, out this way, in this way. And now we're going to push this whole thing over so that we're grabbing more material from up there and bringing it down in with us. At least that's the plan. So you pull this cotter pin here on the Titan, pull this pin here, we're just going to push it, push it. Now we're going to pull this pin. We're going to angle this a little bit more this way so that we're catching more of that material up there, catching more material up there. Now we're going to pull this pin. We're going to angle the blade down and we're going to trench. Now, like I said, normally I would trench first and then pull all that extra dirt away, but I needed to get some of that wash out of there. So we're going to do that right now, get the trenching done. It's been a pretty good road blading day so far. Wash out! That's called Redneck Ninja. Right there. Blue collar kung fu, baby. So now you can see how there you go. Got your angle. We'll go down into that trench right in here. We'll pull all that material out and then we'll push that material back up the hill. At least that's the plan. All right, so after we got done yesterday, I thought I was recording and I wasn't actually recording, and so we didn't get two videos recorded, but here is the after work. I came back, this is the next morning, and so I came back and thought I'd show the video that didn't get recorded. This is the after. There's the trench. Sorry about the hand. Have to come back in and retrench this a little bit because when I was pulling the dirt out of the side, pulling dirt away from the trench, this is a big chunk of granite. I hit that and then it just kind of filled that back in. So I'll have to come in here. This takes a little bit more work, but And I still have the entire bottom, but you know, there was wash running all through here. We got that taken care of. And Lindsay cut back all of these aspens, so the road is back to the width that it was. I mean, we have an amazing amount of growth this year, considering that we don't have any, didn't have that much snow this year. But cut all that back, cut it back on this side, cut it back on that side, and got the trenching work done. So there it is.